Exactly 4 days more to the African Cup of Nations, the 33rd edition of the competition, and the Super Eagles will be gunning for their 4th title when it comes to the Continental Showpiece. Welcome to the arena. I'm Samson Oloide, and promises to be another exciting edition. Remember, our countdown to the African Cup of Nations continues, and we'll preview Group A, where you have Cameroon, who were the 2017 champions. But more importantly, we'll also take a look at the Super Eagles of Nigeria when it comes to their preparations for the Continental Showpiece. It hasn't been the best, and there's still doubts regards one very key player for the Super Eagles in terms of his participation at this competition, and that's no other than Ighalo, who is yet to join the team when it comes to the camp in Abuja. Once again, I say welcome to the arena, and I'm Samson Oloide. I'm not doing this alone. I've got a guest here. Akim Olayiwaju joins me on the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Samson.
I'm sure you're looking forward to the African Cup of Nations.
I look forward to an amazing tournament in the next few days now.
Let's start from home, before we delve to other competition and other teams. Let's start from home. Super Eagles of Nigeria, the preparations have not been top-notch. What exactly do you think is the issue?
I think our total dependence on foreign players is what is actually causing the issues. Other African countries like some smaller country like Cape Verde and all that, they don't really have these foreign-based players. And sincerely, I don't really expect so much from the Super Eagles, but I know they will have a fantastic tournament.
Okay, talking about having a fantastic tournament, let's see how that pans out for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Remember that you have 25 players in camp as we speak, and Samuel Chukwueze was the one who joined late yesterday to make it 25, or rather early this morning to make it 25. So you have Ighalo, who may not join the team, not just in Abuja, but even participating, and that's due to a clause in his contract when he signed with Al Shabab Riyadh of Saudi Arabia. He signed that he wasn't going to participate in national team tournaments, and that's quite understandable. You remember, he retired from Super Eagles at some point, but now that he's back with the Super Eagles, that clause is now the the Achilles heel that has denied him the privilege of joining the team thus far. Remember, the Super Eagles of Nigeria have been training. 23 players participated in training yesterday. They were divided into 2 groups. You have Group Red and Group Green, and you even had former Super Eagles captain Joseph Yobo joining the team as well. 23 players. It looks good now. About 2-3 days ago, you had 6, you had 12, but the number has risen to a respectable number that you would expect.
Well, so far so good. This Africa Cup of Nations 2021 in Cameroon, I think the Super Eagles had the poorest preparation so far. Good. And like I said, the team is already depleted. We have quite a large number of new players in that particular team.
Definitely.
And telling any particular person in Nigeria that we are coming back with gold or bronze or silver, I think it's going to be a dream. And likewise also, I believe smaller teams also, they can actually come up to spring surprises.
Definitely.
Because majority of the top teams in Africa now, Morocco, Cameroon, Algeria, Senegal also, most of them also have the same issue that the Super Eagles has.
Yes.
Even though they do, like Senegal now, all their players they have players just like in all the Europe compared to Cameroon and all that. But notwithstanding, we should still expect that at least they will put up a good fight in the tournament, but we shouldn't expect much from the Super Eagles.
Okay, talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria, I mentioned 25 players are in camp, 3 more are expected, and I would explain. For this year's edition of the African Cup of Nations, it's a 28-man team list, not 23. Remember, it used to be a 23-man list, but CAF gave the grace for teams to have 5 additional players, so it's 28. And with 25 in camp, the 3 that we're expecting are, you have Ighalo, as I said earlier, who still has issues with his contract and his club, who have refused to release him thus far. The NFF are trying everything they can to ensure that he joins up with the team later today, and discussions are ongoing behind the scenes. Let's see how that pans out. It must be said that interim manager Austin Eguavoen has disclosed that if by 5 p.m. Nigerian time today, he doesn't get a word of confirmation regards Ighalo's participation, then he would name a substitute, a replacement who would take over Ighalo's place in the team. It will be a big loss for Nigeria. We know quite well what Ighalo brings to the table. And the three players we're expecting, or the two other players we're expecting aside Ighalo, you have Jamilu Collins, who plays for Paderborn, in Germany. And you also have Tyrone Ebuehi, who plays in the Italian Serie A. These are important players.
Yeah.
Very important. Tyrone Ebuehi is versatile.
He's
Can
really
play as a right back, left back.
he's doing very, very well in
Italy,
in
Venezia,
Venezia.
presently where he plays. These players are yet to join the camp. Preparations have not been top notch. If they don't join the camp on time, it's worrisome because the Super Eagles are meant to leave today.
Well, I'm sure that they will find their way. They will have planned the logistics, but notwithstanding the presently now the Europe teams, the Europe clubs, they are actually in the middle of the season presently now, and which means that majority of the players that are invited, they are in their top form compared to the Nigerian league that started this
just
month,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, in which when I was listening to the interim coach a few minutes ago, I realized he was making mention that the league started so time. So I didn't really actually expect him to actually include any of the home base.
Only John Noble of Enyimba, the
goalkeeper. So they are professionals anyway, but the challenges that we are having in terms of preparation is not peculiar to our own. But assuming that the Nigerian team actually focus more on home base, I'm so sure that we'll have played different number of friendlies
matches,
and there will have been team bonding. But right now we have quite large number of new arrivals in the team, or like Sadiq Umar, the man that will take our number 9 shirt.
Samuel Chukwueze just resumed as well.
Just joining the team, and Ebuechi also, though he has been in the team, but most of the time he's always been on the bench. And Olayinka, Semi Ajayi, Olayinka, a whole lot of them. So look at that. Even our defense, Leon Balogun. I think even passing on a normal note, I prefer Leo Balogun than Ekong. The captain. But notwithstanding, they are professionals, and I believe they can actually do something. But there is no magic in football. We've been able to see even during the Atlanta Olympic in 1996. It is not big names that actually win matches. It is It's a team for team sport, in which the team that actually have a good preparation will definitely see where the tournament begins.
Okay, talking about preparations, it hasn't been the best for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, but let's see how that reflects on the field of play. Remember, what counts is the 90 minutes on the field of play, although you can't dispute the fact that preparations also play a major role in how teams fare over the course of 90 minutes, which is, the duration of a football game. Wish the Super Eagles the very best. Also, take note that the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be departing the country for Cameroon this night. That's the 5th, Wednesday night. And the Super Eagles media officer, Babafemi Raji, disclosed that the weather conditions in Abuja are the same as what you have in, Gara, where the team will be based in Cameroon. Remember, we're playing Egypt in 6 days' time, and the preparations haven't been the best. But tonight, the Super Eagles fly out. It's a 45-minute flight. That's the duration from Abuja to Gara in Cameroon. So within 45 minutes, within an hour, basically, the Super Eagles would have landed, and they will be getting ready to take on the Pharaohs of Egypt, led by Mohamed Salah. Let's see how we fare. It's the first game. You probably don't want to start, the competition on that note, but hey, we can't help it. Now, let's look at the African Cup of Nations. Group A. 2017 champions are there, and they're the host, Cameroon. It looks like it should be, an easy one for them. Let's start with Cameroon before we delve to the other teams. What do you expect for Cameroon? Maybe the big names are not there. Going days of Samuel Eto'o and the rest, but we still know Vincent Abubakar for Porto. What do you expect from Cameroon?
Well, I believe Cameroon, they will actually come out from that particular group.
Yes.
But
it's relatively easy.
I'm not actually expecting them to win the tournament. But I believe at least they will get to the quarter final or semi-final.
Okay, let me take you on the spot. You have Cameroon, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Cape Verde. That's in Group A.
Yeah.
Cameroon goes through. You have your money on them. Who goes next?
Cameroon, Cape Verde.
Cape Verde over Burkina Faso.
Yeah. Though in 2013 they played
in the final.
In the final. But I don't think the
team,
yes. The team is no longer here. That team,
the generation has
passed. So I think we are having it because they actually struggled in the World Cup qualifiers. and no, I didn't really expect them to actually. They may actually came to in that particular group, but I'm not expecting them to be out of that group.
Okay, so you don't expect Cameroon to win
Cape Verde are
Cape Verde and Cameroon to go through?
Young and enterprising team.
Okay, but you do not expect Cameroon to win the Nations Cup?
I didn't expect Cameroon to win the Nations Cup. But they are going to have a very good tournament anyway.
Okay, let's look at Ethiopia. They were the first to arrive at what's it called,
Cameroon.
at Cameroon, talking about the African Cup of Nations. It shows you that they're ready to really get things going. Ethiopia is not the kind of footballing nation you would expect to pose a problem. Although the group looks easy, when you take out Cameroon, any of the three teams can still qualify. You have Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, Cape Verde.
Well,
do you think Ethiopia will be the whipping boys?
Samson, let me swallow my word, because when we look at the team vividly, there is no smaller team again in Africa.
Okay.
And looking at what is happening to all the African countries in terms of their foreign-based players, it would definitely affect this tournament.
Yes.
I now understand the reason why the European club, they are begging the CAF president to actually move the tournament because this. I'm sure Nigeria is not the only country facing the preparation. What has happened? So smaller team can actually spring any surprise, and because this thing, the sport football is a team game. It's not an individual. It is not big name. We are talking about. Look at the team in 1996. We have Ronaldo. We have Cafu. We have So and yet Nigeria go there and they beat them silly. So looking at Ethiopia, though we know much more about Ethiopia, they are very good in athletics. Okay. But now I think they in the beginning of AFCON.
Yes.
Though we don't normally have large number of teams like this then, yes. But yet I think they were also one of the past winners or runners up when the competition started. So I believe they are going to give themselves a very good name in the tournament, but I'm not expecting much from them.
Okay. Well, the African Cup of Nations is here. As I said earlier, it's just 4 days away, and there's so much to look forward to when it comes to the various teams participating, and more importantly, the money at stake. As mentioned, $260,000 have been given to the teams to prepare for this tournament. $16.2 million is the prize money pool, and the winners are guaranteed to. The winner, I beg your pardon, is guaranteed to go home with $5 million, while the runner-up goes home with $3 million. For semi-finalists, all 4 teams will be going on with $2.5 million, and you have those who hit the quarterfinals with $800,000. There's so much money. When you convert it to the various local currencies, it tells you that these monies can be invested into sports infrastructure to develop the game, or football infrastructure to develop the game in those countries. So there's so much money to be made. Let's see how much the Super Eagles can make. Last year time they came third, talking about in 2019 African Cup of Nations, and they went home with $2 million. But this time around, whoever comes third will go with $2.5 million. And you know what that is when you convert it to Naira? It's over $1 billion Naira. It tells you that there's so much money at the African Cup of Nations to be made. Let's see how much the Super Eagles can make. We'll go on a break right now. When we come back, we'll be talking about other football matters, definitely in Europe. Just stick around. Thanks for staying tuned. You're still watching The Arena on iBrandTV, coming to you live from our studios in Lagos, Nigeria. Now it's time to talk about European club football. I will begin in England, where Liverpool are asking that their Carabao Cup semi-final fixture against Arsenal be postponed, and that's due to the COVID outbreak that has rocked the club. Just minutes ago, the news broke forth that Liverpool's assistant coach, Peter Lindsters, has also tested positive for COVID. It's getting messy, so to speak, at Anfield. Jurgen Klopp himself is isolating. You also have, Matip out there too with COVID. And so many players, both injuries and COVID-related issues. Liverpool are depleted at this point in time. You have Becker out with COVID. Firmino tested positive. Your Matip tested positive. Jurgen Klopp is isolating. Now Peter Lindsters, who even takes over? When both the coach and the assistant coach are out. So, do you think it will be granted?
Well, it depends on the rules that has actually been put in place because I believe they have their
rules, yes.
they have their under 23 things
Same.
in place. And there are other assistant coaches, not only one. So
you prefer either the coach or the assistant.
but I still believe that probably, you know, they may be looking at it in the fact that probably because Sadio Mane and Salah is no
longer in the team.
They may be thinking maybe political and all that, you know, sport politics. But notwithstanding, it would be good if they actually grant then the audience to actually shift the match
itself.
Pending the time there will be at least a substantial coach that will be able to guide the.
That means their FA Cup, you know, fixture on Sunday will be postponed as well against Shrewsbury.
Definitely, if they can postpone the
game against Arsenal, that would be affected.
That one will also be affected. But their last match,
they played against Chelsea.
Against Chelsea, they played.
That was on the 2nd.
But I still believe it's all now politics.
Well, it just referred to Liverpool's last match, the 4-goal thriller against Chelsea, where they took a 2-goal lead, and the regular suspects, talking about Mane and Salah, scored the goals for them, but they couldn't hold on to the lead as Chelsea were able to score 2 goals within 3 minutes to level matters, and that's how the game ended. Now, we'll move over to Chelsea. Chelsea Football Club has been in on a decline over the last 3-4 weeks, so to speak, in terms of results on the field of play. And off it, there's been lots of drama with Romelu Lukaku, who gave that scathing interview with Sky, and he said so much regards not being happy with his deployment and the team, and he wants to leave and go back to Inter Milan. It was quite nasty. The man has come out to apologize.
Lukaku last season, he was actually, let me call it, in a spectacular form in Italy, and
he was the most valuable player.
Most valuable player. You now bring him down to the Premiership Chelsea in order for him to actually be warming the bench, because you have quite a large number of players to actually pick from. I so much believe that he personally, even though he likes Chelsea, but he has actually made that mistake, because the level at which he was going after they win the Italian Serie A, by now you should be contesting for one of the best players in
England.
The world.
But it started that way.
Yes,
Chelsea,
but the way things are going now, if care is not taken, he will be put on
the bench.
I will be going on playing 30-minute football. You know, he has to fight for himself. You can see Ronaldo playing week in, week out, and you can see they are frozen out Greenwood and Cavani out of the first team, and Rashford also. They are almost forcing them out of the team. They are only playing few minutes of match.
But these players you've mentioned, for example, Rashford has been dealing with injuries.
Yes.
You know, the player who has really been frozen out is probably Anthony Martial. That's for United.
Yes.
But when you look at Lukaku at Chelsea, when he started the season, he scored goals, 9 goals, in about 10 matches. It was playing well, and then he picked up the ankle injury. He was out for 9 matches. You know. It's understandable that the coach is just trying to introduce him back gradually. Now, we do not know what's going on behind the scene in terms of, training grounds and how well, he's faring or how he's competing. But I think the coach was just trying, is just trying to introduce him back to the game gradually, having missed out almost 2 months of football. Do you think it was lack of patience?
To me, it's not lack of patience, but he's trying to fight for himself. Because I believe he must have spoken to the coach quietly before. But I think sometimes quietness does not solve some issues. You need to shout, you need to speak out. And when the coach has realized that he has spoken to the media, the coach job is also at stake. If peradventure they didn't later win the league, they will say, you invested so much on a player like this, and you now put him on the bench. So those are the things that happen. I believe the Chelsea dressing room is actually being affected presently due to their result. So those are the things that, if they properly manage it, Man City will not take the league from them. But if they did not manage it properly, I will give the league to Man City for this season.
Okay. Let's still talk about the Premier League. This time around, we're talking about the big money spenders, Newcastle United, well, the millions of dollars haven't been rolling in, in terms going out rather in terms of purchasing the big players, but they've made their first signing under their new owners, and it's Kieran Trippier, the former Tottenham Hotspur defender, who also played for Atletico Madrid, is the one who has been signed for £12 million. Both clubs have agreed, and he's having his medicals on Wednesday, which is today. So you should expect Kieran Trippier to don the jersey of Newcastle United very soon. He is the first signing, and it's just to address the issues they have, talking about the right back, where they have defensive frailties for Newcastle United. So let's see how Trippier is able to show up the defense line of Newcastle United. He's someone who is well experienced, as I said, played for Tottenham Hotspur in Premier League before, and also won the La Liga title with Atletico Madrid last season. Lots of experience with Trippier coming in. Now let's move over to a bit of some business stories, talking about the world of sports. Now, 3 months after purchasing an 80% stake in the Premier League's Newcastle United for $409 million, you have Saudi Arabia's public investment fund very close to purchasing the current champions of Italian Serie A, talking about Inter Milan, and the amount is a whopping $1 billion. The deal is expected to be announced in the coming days, talking about Inter Milan now having new owners. Now, Suning Holdings Group acquired a 70% stake in the team in 2016, but the owners have been searching for additional investor since 2019 due to financial constraints. Despite winning the domestic title in 2020, Inter Milan lost roughly $285 million in the 2020-2021 financial year, and the team continues to lose $15 million each month. It shows you the financial mess that Inter Milan are in right about now. But Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, which manages over $430 billion in assets and is run by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, will definitely rescue the club. It's also worthy to note that the PIF, that's the Public Investment Fund, is also in talks with Ligue 1's Marseille and a Brazilian club. So you have Saudi Arabia, trying to spread their tentacles when it comes to football. They've bought Newcastle United. Now Inter Milan is very close, and they've moved to French League or Marseille, as well as a Brazilian club. Quick one. Is this an era? Because we saw that with Qatar, Man City, Sheikh Mansour, PSG. Now it seems Saudi Arabia are the big guns, the big money spenders.
Well, I think the Arabs, the public investment fund that they are having in the Arabs, I think they have their goals that they are actually pursuing,
yeah.
And I believe if this kind of idea can actually be brought down to Nigeria and the Nigerian sports.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I know
if they can actually sell this idea
Okay.
to Nigerian government, also
yes.
sincerely, and the football community in Nigeria will definitely improve, because as we have said, the power is actually going to the Arab now in terms of the number of teams that they are having now,
and how they spend.
And it means they actually have a goal. There is a particular goal that I believe they have that is not in sport is yet to be known to the entire world. But there is a goal. There is something they are actually pursuing, that they want to see that if they can. Okay, tomorrow you will hear that they will acquire Arsenal. Do you understand?
Yes,
you can see all these things. It makes the game to be more interesting. Like for example, the Newcastle, for example, now Trippier has actually be there, and you'll be hearing that big players are actually coming in, and big coaches are coming in, and tomorrow you will just see Newcastle becoming the top four in the Premier. So it makes the game interesting. So at least money is a powerful instrument in football generally.
Definitely it is. Now let's move on to another part of the business, talking about the business side of sports. Now, London-based investment firm, also known as Sports Republic, which is backed by Serbian billionaire named Dragan Solak, has purchased the controlling stake in Southampton Football Club, the club has confirmed. As a matter of fact, the group has purchased 80% of Newcastle Southampton, and the stake is worth $135 million. They purchased it from Chinese businessman Gao Jinsheng, who has owned it since 2017. Now, the deal will empower Southampton to improve its operations at every level, with the possibility of signing top players. It must be stated that minority owner Katharina Lieber, who owns 20% of the stake, will maintain a stake in the club. So this is part of what we're seeing. Another English club bought over by, a Serbian billionaire, 80% stake, lots of money. It makes the teams competitive. So you don't just have, I mean, before Roman Abramovich came on board, we know how Chelsea was.
Yes.
You know, and then he has transformed Chelsea. The same thing with Sheikh Mansour and Manchester City. I think it's a good one that we have so many, you know, billionaires and private equity firms investing in these clubs.
It has really shown, let me call it, football in England. Let me use England as an example. It's actually opened the eyes of a lot of people now that there is money in football, especially in England. Let me call it Europe entirely. And that has makes all these investors to actually come in. You know how much it costs to buy an original jersey. So all those things and the advertisement and all that, it costs for a whole lot of. It will bring a whole lot of, let me call it, transformation to the game generally.
Okay, let's still take one more sports story when it comes to, you know, the business side of things. This time around, we're moving over to the mixed martial arts. Group 1 Holdings, which is the parent company of martial arts platform One Championship, has raised $150 million in a funding round. Now, One, which is a Singapore-based sports media property and mixed martial arts promoter, will use this money to expand the league outside of Asia. Remember, One Championship is known all over Asia, but not yet, you know, across the world. Now, the round was led by Guggenheim Investments as well as Guggenheim Partners and the Qatar Investment Authority, which is the nation's sovereign wealth fund. Group 1 Holdings includes gaming network One Esports, which is already a major force in the international sports scene and broadcasts to more than 150 countries. It shows you the reach of One Championship. Now, the organization also wants to bring One Championship into the US market, where it will likely compete with UFC, and this will make it more interesting when it comes to, you know, the mixed martial arts, because you have Bellator, you have UFC. Now One Championship is trying to come into American markets. Remember, most people know mixed martial arts to just be UFC, but it's not just UFC. There's also Bellator. Now you have One Championship. It means more fighters have different platforms to, you know, project their talents.
You know, something is wonderful and nice for us to actually analyze all these things, to talk about them. But I just hope that somebody somewhere in Nigerian studying this is listening to all
and
this
taking a cue
for it. That there are a lot of things that we can actually do with the Nigerian economy. We can bring in investors to actually come over and turn.
We see that with fintechs in recent times.
So all those things, there is money in this country, I must tell you, but it's all about investing and putting money into it. Our league is not like this before. Spectators are no longer in some of our stadiums. And so all these things, we can bring all this glory, we can bring it back. I can be proud of wearing a Yimba football jersey. I can be proud that I'm wearing Adesanya, the Aruna Kodri, probably the branded shirt and all that. And with all these things in place, Nigerian image also will be projected outside the country, and we will all make money. There are a lot of business people that will come in.
Definitely,
also that will
job opportunities that
will be created. So there is a lot of money in sports.
In sports generally, let's hope that you know, our sports administrators, and you also have corporate brands. Let's hope that they're able to take a cue from what we see all over Europe and the Americas and now Asia, talking about investment in sports, because sports definitely has so much to offer when it comes to job creation, when it comes to, you know, economic opportunities. We'll wrap up the show now with a bit of basketball, where the Los Angeles Lakers were able to edge the Sacramento Kings 122 to 114 points, and it took star power LeBron James with 31 points to get the Lakers through against the Kings. And you must say that for LeBron James, he's putting up the numbers, those MVP numbers. Let's see if he's able to win a 5th MVP title, talking about being the best player in NBA. That's how much we can take on today's edition of the show. Thank you so much, Akim Olaiwaju, for joining me.
Thank you, Samson. Thank you. I look forward to an amazing tournament of African Cup of Nations. Definitely. Starting in the next 4 days.
Let's hope that our Super Eagles, you know, makes us proud.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much to the production crew, and thank you out there for watching. We are really grateful. And until the show comes your way tomorrow, do stay blessed and have a wonderful day.